They're interested in themselves. Those who are cheerleading Tommy Robinson, not interested in justice.
Jim Davidson's explosive live rant on Keir Starmer and Tommy Robinson leaves viewers stunned. You're not going to believe what just happened on live broadcast. Jim Davidson, yes, the outspoken comedian turned commentator, launched into a fiery rant that had everyone talking. And this time, his target was none other than Labour leader Keir Starmer, with Tommy Robinson's name thrown into the mix, making the exchange even more controversial. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't staged. It was Davidson, raw and unfiltered, saying exactly what was on his mind and leaving audiences either cheering or shaking their heads in disbelief. Davidson was live, talking about the current state of politics in Britain. Things seemed normal enough, until the conversation shifted to Keir Starmer. Suddenly, Davidson's tone changed. His voice got louder, his words sharper, and before anyone realized it, he was going full throttle. Now, Davidson has never been shy about his views. He's known for blunt, no-nonsense takes that sometimes cross the line, but this rant stood out.
Why?
Because he didn't just go after Starmer. He tied Tommy Robinson into the conversation, and that sent sparks flying. At one point, Davidson shouted, "This is exactly what people are fed up with, politicians pretending they've got the answers, while others like Robinson are stirring the pot in ways that drag the whole debate into chaos." The host tried to calm things down. But Davidson wasn't finished. Let's pause here. Why does this matter? Because Jim Davidson is no ordinary pundit. He's a household name, a cultural figure who speaks to an audience that often feels ignored by mainstream politics. When he rants, it doesn't just echo in a studio, it spreads online, it hits headlines, it starts conversations in pubs and living rooms across the country. And this rant hit harder than usual. The reaction was immediate. Clips of Davidson's outburst flooded social media within minutes. On Twitter, one user posted, "Say what you will about Jim, but at least he speaks the truth. He says what millions are thinking." Another fired back, "This is embarrassing. Why is Davidson still given a platform to rant like this? It's not politics, it's theater." Journalists quickly jumped in too. A column in the Mirror described the rant as the kind of explosive outburst that shows how fractured Britain's political debate has become. Meanwhile, over at the Telegraph, the tone was different. They wrote, "Davidson's passion reflects the public mood. People are angry, disillusioned, and tired of polished soundbites." So what was Davidson really saying? Strip away the shouting, the theatrics, and you find a deeper frustration, a belief that politics has become disconnected from real people, while figures like Tommy Robinson exploit that anger for their own gain. And this is where Davidson's rant gets complicated. Because while he blasted Robinson for creating chaos, he also acknowledged that Robinson manages to tap into issues politicians often avoid. Immigration, law and order, free speech, topics that inflame but also resonate with certain communities. That's why the rant went viral. It wasn't neat, it wasn't tidy. It was messy, emotional, and painfully real. Insiders are already speculating about the fallout. One Labour strategist was quoted saying, "Jim Davidson has no influence on policy, but moments like this shape the narrative. People share these clips, and before you know it, they're defining public opinion more than any official speech." A Conservative MP, meanwhile, quipped, "Davidson might just be more effective at getting under Starmer's skin than our entire communications team." Even a former UK IP insider chimed in on a talk show, saying, "Whether you love him or hate him, Jim has a knack for cutting straight to the anger in the country. That's dangerous for politicians who prefer control." But here's the real question. Does Davidson's rant actually matter, or is it just another viral moment in a never-ending cycle of political noise? On one hand, you could argue it's just entertainment. A comedian mouthing off, nothing more. But look closer, and you'll see something else, a mirror. A reflection of the deep distrust people feel toward politicians, and the hunger for voices that break through the polished facade. And it raises a bigger issue. If comedians, activists, and provocateurs are the ones shaping public debate, what does that say about the state of British politics? Is it healthy, or is it a symptom of a system where voters feel ignored until someone outside the establishment speaks up? One commentator on LBC summed it up perfectly. This wasn't about Jim Davidson. This was about frustration. And frustration, left unchecked, is what drives politics in dangerous directions. So where does this leave us? Jim Davidson's rant won't change policy. It won't win elections. But it will keep echoing online, fueling debate, polarizing opinion, and reminding us just how fragile the political conversation has become. And as Britain edges closer to the next election, these viral moments may matter more than we think. They shape perception. They define leaders. They tell us what's resonating with ordinary people outside of Westminster's bubble. One thing is for sure. That live broadcast didn't just give us another soundbite. It gave us a glimpse into the raw, unfiltered frustration boiling beneath the surface of British politics. And the question we're all left with is this. If this is what's bubbling up now, what happens when the pressure really explodes in the heat of election season? Because if Jim Davidson's rant is anything to go by, we haven't seen anything yet.